Hello everybody, my name is Yl'luria and I'm here to tell you about a very, very special adventure that some friends of mine and I have embarked upon. It's quite some time in the making and I'd like to give you a little backstory about it, but before I do, first I have a question for you. Have you ever thought about how merfolk communicate underwater? Well, they sing. Absolutely. Sometimes they make noises like dolphins and whales. Makes lots of sense. But despite merfolk having the same physical structure on top that humans do, we probably wouldn't speak in the traditional manner underwater. Because if you try to talk when your head is submerged in water, have you ever tried it? It's very difficult. You end up sounding like, which doesn't get too much across. A little something is lost in the translation. So, have you ever thought that maybe merfolk would use other forms of communication to get their messages across underwater?
Body language!
Well, that's something that's been on my mind a lot lately, and this is why. I was born different from other Mers and many other humans. My eyes don't work the same as some. There are nerves that connect our eyeballs to our brains, and my nerves, they're called optic nerves, didn't develop in the same way that others tend to. So my optic nerves are shorter and thinner than is generally found in both humans and merfolk. That creates a longer eyeball, which is called myopia or nearsightedness. And it also means that certain messages don't get to my brain, so I don't have great depth perception, and my eyes don't work together, so I don't get that big binocular scope of vision that folks do, or when you look in the movies and they got the black around the two eye holes that make the great big figure eight. I don't see that when I look through binoculars. I just see one, because this eye is better than this eye. And growing up, I often felt kind of different, and I went to a lot of summer camps and events for kids with visual impairments. And during that time, I also got acquainted with some deaf kids and some deaf culture. And that opened up a whole new world for me. A whole new world? No. But it did teach me that there's a whole culture and language surrounding people who may not hear or speak so well. Sign language is a whole universe of language that's different from place to place to place to place and culture to culture to culture, that people who don't hear or don't speak very well use to communicate. And growing up, I have a human uncle who, by some chance, was born deaf like I was born with a seeing impairment. So I got to learn a little bit about sign through my exposure to deaf culture. And when he found out that I can sign, or what I was learning to sign, he was very touched. That meant a great deal to him, because when he was a kid, his family was taught during those times long ago that they should not sign with their kids, that they should not learn sign language, which for him must have been very, very hard growing up, because that was his main means of communication. But they were taught that it would impair his ability to function in the hearing world, so they were told not to learn sign language. And that got me thinking about how hard it must have been for him growing up as a deaf kid, not being understood by those around you. So I learned what I could of sign language. I am fascinated by all kinds of human language, be it French, Spanish, German, Russian, Chinese. If I could, I would learn every language on the planet. I find all languages fascinating, past, present, future, above land, in the water, all of it. So along with the languages I was learning as a kid, I started learning sign language. And for my uncle, that meant a great deal. Fast forward many years to my dabbling with sign language throughout my life. I can send, which means I can sign okay, but because of my visual impairment, I have a hard time receiving, which means seeing what other people sign. So I haven't gotten into it as much as I would like, but that never stopped me from wanting to learn, and my heart has always been close to sign language and deaf culture and the experiences and importance of the hearing impaired and their culture. So when I went to my first fairy worlds and shared my flukes with the world for the first time, I noticed certain little things that were happening around me, like when a mermaid would get a cramp in her fin, or when she needed water, or when she needed help with something. We needed a way to communicate that to one another without necessarily expressing that to the rest of the public, because you might not want everyone to know that maybe you need help with something, or that you're tired, or you have to use the bathroom. Not something that, everybody needs to know when you're out in front of the world. So I thought, wouldn't it be cool if we merfolk adapted our own signs for communicating with one another at events? And that simmered for a while. And I sat on it and thought, and time went by, and it's still something that I would love to do. But after a while, it just sort of got put on the back burner, and as part of my daily life, I decided one day I was just going to look up various mermaid-related signs to see if maybe I could make versions of them that would be unique and part of our own culture. So I went to this amazing website called handspeak.com that I learned about from a woman who I think is a mermaid in disguise. She used to go by the name of Mernix, and so I followed her works throughout many, many years on the internets. And it turns out that she created this amazing site called handspeak.com where people can go and learn all kinds of amazing signs. She's got a dictionary full of signs that she demonstrates herself in these short, quick little snippets. And that gave me an idea. Instead of merfolk inventing a whole other language to communicate with one another at events and such, wouldn't it be cool if we took a cue from Mernix and handspeak.com and did our own version where we merfolk reached out to the deaf and signing communities by teaching the hearing and non-signing communities a little bit about mermaid and water-related signs. I thought it would be really, really neat if merfolk made an effort to learn sign language and then to pass what they learn on to the hearing public. Because I don't know about you, but sign language is such a rich, fascinating, beautiful language, And I don't see it very often on land at events or other places where it maybe should be a little more present. You don't see people signing in fantasy art, and you don't see many people signing at festivals or events unless it's a great big stage show where somebody has got an interpreter. And it occurred to me, if you're a deaf kid running around at a festival or an event who probably isn't largely understood outside of maybe their close circle of family and friends, how cool would it be for a kid to go up to a mermaid at a festival, and for that mermaid to look at that little kid and say, "Hi, my name is," and in my case it would be Yl'luria, water song, or "My name is rain," whatever it may be, and to just reach out to that kid and do a little something to say, "Hi, I see you, I hear you, I want to understand you and your culture because I care." And I'm sorry for getting all misty. This is a very heartfelt issue for me, because lots of humans go through this world not feeling heard or seen or understood. And as a mermaid, in all I do, I want to help remedy that. I want to reach out to those people and let them know that they are cared about, that they are heard and they are seen and they are important, and that they can make their dreams happen just as much and as beautifully as anybody else. So that is when the Mermaid Sign Project was born. I have gathered a group of amazing merfolk who have volunteered their time and energy and efforts to learn little bits of sign language so that they can pass their knowledge and inspiration and magic onto you. Whether you're a beginning signer and signing will be your predominant means of communication, or you're a person who's never signed in their life and would just like to know a little more about deaf language and deaf culture, or just learn a little bit about the language in general because it's beautiful and exciting and expressive. We want to share a little of that magic with you. Myself and my friends, none of us are formal interpreters or professional signers in any way, shape, or form. We are merely doing our best to reach out to the deaf and signing community and to let them know that we see them and we hear them and we care, and to reach out to the hearing and non-signing community and using our being merfolk as a vehicle to get people interested in this amazing language and culture. This is for little kids, this is for older folks, this is for adults and children of all ages. Whether you're just beginning to learn how to sign as a little tiny one, or you've been signing all your life, our hope is that through the magic of merfolk, we will interest and intrigue and inspire and enlighten and give a little window to this incredible world that is sign language. And hopefully get people's feet wet through little baby puddles of mermaid and water-related sign. I am super excited to be embarking on this adventure, and so are my friends, and we cannot wait to make May Mermaid Sign Month. What does that mean? That means that from May 1st throughout the month of May, we will be bringing you various mermaid and water-related signs. On land and under the water, there's going to be a bunch of cool merfolk signing and hopefully getting people inspired about sign language and deaf culture and mermaids and magic and mythology and folklore and all the goodness that surrounds all of these things. So join me and my friends throughout the month of May. You can find us on social media throughout the internets, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, even Snapchat. Just look up the Mermaid Sign Project, hashtag Mermaid Sign Project, or you can find me, Mermaid Yl'luria, on Facebook or my website or Twitter, Instagram, all the things. Just search Yl'luria, or you can find me at ylluria.weebly, weebly.com. You can find me on Facebook under Mermaid Yl'luria, on YouTube under Yl'luria Water Song, and of course all of this information will be in the down box below, or whatever social media thing I'm on right now, the information will be included. I really hope that you will join me and my mer friends on this amazing and magical adventure, and I hope that it inspires you, whether you're hearing or not, to learn more sign, learn more about merfolk, and learn more about this beautiful magical planet we all share, whether on the land or in the water. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you are excited to join us beginning May 1st for the Mermaid Sign Project that's slated to go throughout Mermaid Sign Month, May. Thank you guys so much, and I'll talk to you guys later. Blessings, and thank you.